Hello, everybody. We're just going to go live on Instagram and then we'll be with you. But first and foremost, let's welcome Helen and Rochelle. Hello.
Hi.
Hello.
How are we doing?
Great, thanks.
Yeah, really good today.
Really good. Well, in line with the title, Fun in Women's Lives, Rochelle, what have you got going on?
Oh, what did I do that was fun? So on Saturday, Victoria's seen photographic evidence of this. It was my sister's birthday on Sunday. So on Saturday we went out. Me, my sister Chloe's birthday it was, and my sister Jade. And it was supposed to be a really nice, civilized evening. We went to do some painting. So it's called Sip and Paint. And we decided because it was near Halloween, we were going to get dressed up as something a little bit scary. So I was Beetlejuice. So I just washed and blow dried my hair. So I had big hair, sprayed it white, and then put like green face paint in the ends, and it had some like green paint here and green eyebrows. One of my sisters was Wednesday Addams, and one was Cruella de Vil. So it was supposed to be really quiet. We did some really good painting, and I loved it. That was so much fun. But then my cousin messaged us, and she was like, "Are you out?" And we're like, "Yeah." So she came and joined us, and then 2:30 in the morning, I left the club, and everyone else was still there. I was the first one to leave, which never happens because I'm not normally the first person to leave because I get severe FOMO. But yeah, it was a really fun night out. So that's what's been happening. That's fun. Everyone was suffering on Sunday when it was my sister's actual birthday, which made none of us want to drink ever again. But I'm sure that'll change in a couple of weeks' time.
Well, and now you're off to the big festoon.
Yeah, so tonight I'm going to the big festoon, VIP party tonight. 2 days of business, fun, networking.
Amazing. What fun are you up to, Helen?
So actually mine's really a bit geeky, and I am a bit geeky given half a chance. So I'm starting to look at building out the plan for my master's thesis in resilience in high pressure environments for leaders. And I am starting to sort of build the videos and the training content and the flow and all of that sort of stuff for the 6-week study that I'm going to do. And I'm just getting really geeky about it and getting so excited about it. And I've even built a project plan, which is just so unlike me. I usually outsource that massively, and having rambled into a WhatsApp message about what's needed, a beautiful project plan's appeared, and I've actually started doing things like that. So I'm having loads of fun figuring out how I can really help leaders build resilience, because I think why it's so fun is I've been deliberately doing it in myself for the last few months, and I'm starting to see a huge amount of difference. And I'm so excited about what that will mean for others as well. Because I'm just bored of getting on sort of calls with leaders and going, how is everyone? And they go, oh, well, actually, we're really struggling. I'm like, it shouldn't be this way.
Yeah. But as long as you're having fun, though, because one of the reasons why we decided to have this topic was, Helen got her purpose yesterday.
Oh, did you? Brilliant.
Yeah. We had a session, and we're talking about a number of things, and I think fun came up in it, and I was like, that's a really good topic, because I feel as if as women or as leaders we forget to have fun, or fun becomes almost, it's one of those things where it's all or nothing. Like, we don't know how to, like, when we go and have fun, we have so much fun that it takes
days.
For days. Like, it's almost like, oh my God, let's have fun, because I don't normally have fun. I'm gonna squeeze all the juice out of it. Or we just don't have fun at all. And it's really funny because a lot of people would think that I don't have fun, even though I'm quite a jovial person. I know that Rochelle's like, oh, you need to do something else.
Well, this is why I actually thought you thought of the topic, because yesterday morning we were talking, so before you spoke to Helen, and I said to you just need to do something fun, something relaxing, like why don't you start doing some crocheting or some colouring, so that you're just away from business. Because I think as business people, and even like you just then, Helen, you've described something that is really fun to you, and when you love what you're doing, it is fun to do work, but at the same time, I think we really need to be careful that we do take time away from staring at our computers, from working, and do something that's for us separate to our business.
Completely agree. But you see, this is where I go. So I've just spent 3 days with pranic healing, and to me, that's fun. I wasn't looking at a computer, then look at a screen. So that was 3. Does that make sense? Like, it's 3 days. It still has to do with work, but it doesn't have to be on the screen. But if I'm really honest, I'm so obsessed with my business that I can't. It's almost, I don't think I force myself to enjoy it, but I love it that much. So when somebody says to me, "I'll do something else," I'm like, do I really want to? But equally, I think it also depends on what you're going to do. So one of our peers is having a party on the 14th of November. And I'm like, I'm there. I'm going to be there. You know, I can't wait to do that. Like, I can't wait to be there and have fun and everything else. So I think I do, but I guess weekly hobbies just aren't my thing. I'm not a person that will go in for weekly hobbies. So if somebody says to me, go and do, I don't know, acting, like an acting class once a week, I'd enjoy it for the first couple of weeks and it'd bore me to death because I don't like that routine.
Really?
Yeah,
I mean, give me a crochet needle and I will gouge my own eyes out rather than crochet. You know, but for me, I sort of love this topic because actually it's so difficult to, or rather it's so easy with all of the roles and expectations that we put on ourselves as women to forget. We sort of segment fun into these little boxes we can find. And actually, how do we weave it into everything we do? And, you know, there are going to be things that aren't necessarily fun that we have to, like the dentist, but, you know, sort of how do we even make that more enjoyable by having a celebration afterwards, like going into liberally eating ice cream? Because, you know, that's what your dentist tells you to do. But it's like, how can we weave it into everything we do so that life just becomes lighter? I don't know. That's sort of.
I'm a strong believer, and I guess this is why, one of the reasons why I'm so heavy on purpose. I just don't believe you should be doing anything that doesn't light your fire. You know, like, I just don't like, if it's not lighting your fire or you can't see the end result. So there have been times where I've taken a contract in corporate, even whilst I've had a business, and whilst ideally I wouldn't want to take that contract, I always think of the bigger picture. So when I think of the bigger picture, I'm like, well, if you do this, then you can do that in your business. I'm like, oh my God, it just lights my passion to get that done. So to me, it's almost like, if it doesn't light you, to me, lighting your fire includes the fun, but also the frustration as well. You know, sometimes even just feeling frustrated can feel fun as well, because it's like you're frustrated because you don't have the answer to something. You've not solved the solution. Just finding the solution to that. So one of my biggest ones was my messaging. Years it took me, like, I've cried and, you know, I've sworn all sorts, you know, turned the air blue, trying to figure out the language to lend to my business. And even though that's been frustrating, I've also enjoyed it, because I've enjoyed sort of like going down a rabbit hole and going, oh my God, what does this sound like? Does this make sense? Let's see how this reacts and what have you. And I know somebody called Kimber, God, I've not seen her for years, that she's huge on gamification. And I believe that if you can gamify, see, I'm always playing games in my head. Like, I'm always seeing how quickly I can do something, or, you know, or how far my brain will go into a particular scenario. I think if you can gamify your life, I believe that you can have more fun. I don't know what you ladies think. Rochelle?
Yeah, I'm big on gamification. So this is how I've built my LinkedIn following, because like right now I'm a couple of hundred away from 24,000. So I'm much more likely to be consistent now with like connecting with people to see how many people, how I can build that up to 24,000. I've got my TikTok reel that's going viral. So like numbers are big for me. So I'm like, it's 797,000 people this reel's reached at the moment. So yeah, I'd really love for it to get to 1 million. Like, that excites me. And then I'm like, right, now how can I do it again? So last week I had one that had got 238,000 views, and that excited me to then want to put more on TikTok, because I've not really been using TikTok very much. I just post like the odd thing on there, but because I saw the potential in that and how many people are seeing it, I've then gone on to post another one. So I need that reward, and that's why I love social media, because it gives you feedback, whereas something you're not getting feedback, I really struggle to do them. I need to know that people are enjoying what I'm sharing with them to make me actually put stuff out.
Yeah. So does it mean then that fun is in the eye of the beholder?
I think so. So like you were saying about you wouldn't want to do something like weekly. So I do singing lessons on a Monday, and that started out as just something I was doing with my daughter. She stopped doing it and I've continued doing it, and I absolutely love it. And often I can't be bothered to go because it means leaving the house. But then once I get there, I love it. And it's the same with most of my hobbies. So martial arts, I absolutely love doing martial arts, but at the moment I'm out of the habit of going, and it's been about a year since I last did a class, because it takes up a couple of hours of my time, that it takes a lot of discipline to get out of the house. And even when you love something, to actually stop doing something else, or to make that time and make that space. And I think that's why I was talking to you about this, Victoria, yesterday. It's like there are things that we don't do and we don't make time for, even though I feel like the real me when I'm doing martial arts. But I feel like I can I can show up as my true self, and it's a time where I can go and just forget about work and forget about any struggles and stress, forget about being a mom, and I can just go there and be me. And I think having something in your life like that is important, and that's what singing lessons is doing it for me at the moment. But I'm also going to go back to rugby next week, Tuesday, so that's I started doing it last year, and then I got a concussion, so I stopped because it scared me a little bit, but I'm over that now, so I'm back next week. But things like that, like being like fighting in martial arts, like I love it. It gives me such a buzz and a feeling that I just can't compare it to anything else. But I was getting a similar feeling to that at rugby, just doing something new and exciting.
What do you think, Helen?
So back in the 90s, when I first started working in the City of London, my brother and I both started working at roughly the same time, because there's not a big age difference. And we had this game called Secret Man Racing. And so this is pre-social media, stuff like that. And it was like, you'd be walking along a street next door to sort of someone, or just slightly behind them, and you'll be like, right, in your head, you'll be like, I'm going to beat you to that lamppost or the bus stop or the tube station or whatever it is. And what we noticed was 9 times out of 10, if you sped up, if it was a bloke, which is why we called it Secret Man Racing, you'd see them accelerate as well. Like everybody knew this secret game that everyone was playing. And what it did was, my commute was a 25-minute walk. And it made that 25 minutes just go like that. And Dad and I would come back in the evenings and share with each other the most insane and ridiculous, like Secret Man Racing moments, where he had one where both of them cottoned onto what they were doing, and they both ended up sprinting. Just stupid gamification things like that, where you're trying to get that sense of silliness into adult life whilst doing really something dull, like your morning commute was a lot of fun. I mean, at the time we didn't have to carry computers and stuff like that around, so it was slightly easier, but it was, I still do it to this day. Every so often when I like going, right, I've got to go and get, sort of walk up to Boots or something, and it's a bit of a dull walk through the high street, I'm like, right, who can I secret man race? So things like that I just adore, because I think it's so important to bring them into our lives.
I think everybody needs to have fun, and I think you just have to figure out what works for you. At the end of the day, I'm a lot older than Rochelle, and when I was Rochelle's age, I was in the gym. I literally was in the gym sometimes twice a day. And I'd normally go in the morning. So here's my thing. Give me a morning, like 6 o'clock in the morning thing to do. And this was before I did my pranic healing stuff, but I'd be there. I'd do the 6 o'clock so that I have my whole day to myself. And the last thing at night, I'd be there, especially after work, I'd go and do that. So I always, if I was doing anything on a regular basis for a long period of time, it was on either side of the day. It was never during the middle of the day. So I needed my midday free, which I still feel like that. Actually, I still feel like during the day, I don't want anything to come between that and my deliverables. And then on either side, I'll do it, which is why I do my pranic healing practice in the morning and at night. Unfortunately, and so I still do work, but I'm that kind of person where if somebody said to me, watch a movie every night, I'd be like, okay. Because to me, that would be like a fun thing, like watching a movie. And even if I feel like I've not had fun for a while, I'll always go towards Friends and just play it as I move along, just so that I get a giggle and stuff, because I'm not a miserable person overall, but I do believe that. I just want to talk about, I don't know why I'm holding a bottle of Vicks. It's on my desk. It's on my desk. I don't have a cold. But I went to Lindsay McGlone's event, which was called Reclaimed Means Business. And for the first time in a long time, do you know what? I had so much fun. And I think it's because I had no expectations, but also the music was so good from what I remember. So if you ask me what song, I couldn't tell you, but I found myself dancing. Like I was dancing and just going, oh my God, I've not done this for ages. Now that does not mean that I want to go to a nightclub. That doesn't necessarily mean that I want to go to a party, but it was nice to hear music that took me back to the days when I did go on the dance floor or stage and dance on stage and stuff, because obviously why would I dance on the dance floor when there's a stage? Doing all that sort of stuff. So yeah, I completely agree. Now, how do you make fun for your clients? How do you make it fun for your clients? Because I don't think I do. That's something that I'm definitely missing. I don't make things fun for my clients.
It's interesting because I've been having that conversation with myself. I always used to bring the fun in teams that I've managed. And we still do as an organization. So for example, at our last away day, we dedicated a significant amount of time to playing Cobra Paw, which is an amazingly silly sort of game, which is designed for 7 and 8 year olds, but get a load of adults around a table doing it. And you really truly get to know who people are. And I've been considering this. And one of the things that I want to do in terms of the transition towards fun, because I do think there's still a resistance for people in a professional environment to be fun, because I think they equate it with silly. And actually, you can still have fun and let your hair down without necessarily losing that professionality. So the thing that I'm thinking about doing, first of all, is how I make it easy. So the engagements are easy, they're seamless, they're effortless. So whilst we may be having a tough and interesting conversation, there's a sense of flow to that conversation. So people don't find it energetically draining.
Yeah.
And that's where I want to start. And I'm hoping I do that a bit already. So people leave energized, but then how can I bring in not necessarily a virtual game of Cobra Paw, but sort of something that also then adds that element of fun, of laughter, of engagement, etc.
Rochelle?
It's not something I've actually thought about. I'm like, I hope people find, like, obviously property bringing fun to it is a bit, and I'm not sure how I would do that. I don't think it's dull. It's exciting for them. They're getting a new property at the end of it. They're getting a portfolio bill. So thinking about it, I do lots of things like sending different progress photos so they can see like what the property is like when it's when we first bought it, and then seeing what it's like when we're in the various different stages. So I sent some photos to one of my investors a couple of weeks ago when we'd just done the rip hour, and it's always a bit scary because it gets a lot worse before it gets better. So you're like, whoa, like that doesn't look great now. No, it doesn't, but it will by the end of it. And I think seeing the different stages, seeing your house finished and having something that you can be proud of, I think that can be exciting for them. On the LinkedIn side of things, like when I'm having delivering my LinkedIn training, I know people always leave feeling motivated. And what I like to do with them is, a lot of people do think that they're boring, that there's nothing interesting about them, that they haven't got anything to post about on social media. So I really love like asking them questions, and then just having like a bit of a conversation, and probably like rapport building, and they'll tell me something, and then I'll be like, yeah, that's a post. And like just getting them to realize that they actually are interesting, and they have got a lot to talk about. So I think that's fun for people, for them to start realizing a little bit about themselves.
I think sometimes it's good to ask, because one thing that I know is that when people connect to that child within themselves, they're a lot more creative, they're a lot more receptive to what you've got to say. And I remember when I was younger, and I could never understand why the woman on the desk next to me would be so miserable, and like, what's wrong with her? Like, and the men would be like, oh, she just needs a good scene to and stuff. And as a woman, you'd be like, probably and stuff, because why is it she's smiling? And then you hit perimenopause and you go, oh, that's
why. She can't remember what it felt like.
That's what, because she can't remember what it felt like. And that's another thing as well. So it's like, you talk about fun, and it's really interesting, because again, I'm really close to Rochelle and stuff, and like we have a number of conversations, and she's like, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, and I'm thinking, Lord Jesus, I just want to relax. And yeah, I do. But the truth of the matter is, and then I say to her, but when I was your age, I used to do that. And it does come with the time, but also when you realize that there's bills, and it's not that you didn't know that there were bills, but I think the more pressure, or the more you get to realize that there's bills that need to be paid, and maybe your responsibilities increase, some people can't see the fun in life, because they're going, well, I just need to work. Becomes so serious. It's like, I need to get to work to earn this money to pay the bills. And I guess sometimes fun escapes us, not because we want fun to escape us. It's almost like this circumstance can gradually edge the fun away, until one day you go, oh my God, I may not have as much fun as I used to, or as I wanted to. I mean, I'm quite lucky in a way that I always believe that what I'm doing, I do enjoy, and I'm really grateful. And I actually do go out. Like, somebody actually asked me to pop out today, and I went, no. I can pop out tomorrow. I said, but I just need time at home. I need home time, and I don't know if that's just because I've been out quite a lot recently, or if I've got boundaries. I don't know what it is, but I believe that your hormonal state has a huge impact on that search for joy, because when you're going through the perimenopause or menopause, and whether you've got support or not, there are those gremlins that pop into your mind, that subscribing to anything outside, being on the sofa and falling asleep and everything else and stuff is oh God,
gremlins in your body as well. I mean, there are days when I've just woken up and every joint aches.
Yeah.
And then you're sort of kind of going, and then I'm fine for the next sort of 3 or 4, and then you just have it. And again, it's the hormone changes, and it's being able to hold on to that and kind of go, yeah, okay, this is just a process. How do I make sure I'm not necessarily letting the process completely halt me, but also allowing myself to step back and give myself the nurturing and the kindness that I need going through the process. And it is interesting, because there is this sort of grumpy 45 to 55-year-old woman stereotype out there. And I so get it, being in that bracket, but also it's a choice.
It is.
And always.
It is a choice, and you have to do. Okay, so one thing, funny enough, as we're talking, I'm thinking, God, there's something I haven't spoken about, or I speak about, but maybe I've not brought it onto here. I experience severe back pain, like it's crippling. I was at funny, as a healer as well, it's hilarious because you're like, you can heal other people but not yourself, and it's like, but sometimes these healing processes take longer and it's a continuous thing. And it just started off one day. I went for a walk one day. I went for a walk that I used to enjoy doing, and I felt this twinge, and it became so bad that I could only walk for like 3 minutes at a time. I'm a lot better now. But I was at this event over the weekend, and as I stood up, I was trying to memorize every single piece of pain, like the whole bottom of my body just hurt. And as we're talking about this, I'm like, it's probably one of the reasons why I mean, I'll still go to places, but I won't maybe go on a hike like I used to. I want to go back and do Kilimanjaro. I can't do that with this back. You know what I mean? Like stuff that does bring you joy. Again, the body does have that. But like you say, it is a choice. And does that mean that I don't go for walks or walk to places? No, I still do. But it just means that sometimes I have to take a break. Sometimes I have to do, but it's not as fluid as it used to be. So I think fun has a lot of factors that can implement, that can allow you to implement it. But you also need people around you that can make you see that you can choose, because I don't think everybody knows that it is a choice. I don't think everybody can jump out of that space. I think it's okay when you're in the personal development world, where every Instagram page is an inspirational talk. If you're not in that world, it's very easy to just go down into that spiral of hopelessness. Rochelle.
Yeah. I agree. I think I was just thinking about when Maisie was sad on Friday, and she was going for a sleepover at a friend's, and she'd had a bit of a bad day at school, and she weren't happy, and she just wanted to stay at home. And I was like, you can't let your friend down. You've got to kind of just push through this. You'll be fine. You'll have a good time once you're there. And I think that disjoint of, you know, you're sad now, you can see that what you're doing is going to make you happy, but like bridging that gap between the sadness and the joy is very difficult. So I was like, right, let's just pretend to be happy. Let's just smile. So we just started doing like silly smiles, and then that started to get a little bit funny. And I'm like, let's just pretend to laugh. So we were just like, ha 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 ha. And then because we were being silly and pretending to laugh, that made us actually laugh. And then that lifted us up. So I think it's looking for those things in life where you can go, I know I feel sad now, but let's see how I can make myself feel happier by doing some little things that might be silly. And I'm doing some work actually at the moment with someone, you know, Victoria H. It's like a group program where we're looking at things like how we can make ourselves feel better, how we can like regulate ourselves, and just things like sitting down with a cup of tea, or ways we can make our bodies feel better so that we can perform better. And I think finding little things like that can take you from feeling quite sad and down in the dumps and miserable to actually putting a smile on your face and making you feel like you want to, and that you can have fun even at times when you might be feeling like everything's going wrong in life, or you're having a really bad time, you've got like ill family members or anything like that. It's still okay to smile. It's still okay to have fun.
Yeah. See, but the fact that, I don't equate not having fun to being sad. That's another thing as well. It's like I could, like right now, I could just be sat here, and if someone said they're having fun, I could be like, not really. I'm not having fun. I'm just am. I just am. So I'm not sad. So I think it's also that thing of, do I need to be? I actually deliberately stopped being jazz hands person, because for a while I almost became like the party entertainer. Like you'd walk in and go, oh my God, thank God Vic's here. Oh my God,
the fun.
Yeah, thank God Vic's here and stuff. Oh my God, we can start having fun now. And I was like, I don't want to be that person. I don't want to be identified with just being the fun person. You know, it's like there's other elements to me. So I remember people going, what's wrong with you? What's wrong? I was like, fine. I just don't need to be Because how many times have we seen people who have been, and then you find out that they've committed suicide the next day?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's, I don't think fun needs to necessarily be external. Like, I don't think it needs to be a performance. I think you can be genuinely having fun or be happy within without it being at people. But the truth of the matter is, or overall, you can tell from somebody's energy whether they're happy or not.
But I think Rochelle also made a really interesting point about women do such a good job at bringing the fun and the happiness back to our children, our partners, our family, our people around us. And when you sort of said we're doing a group where we're then doing it for ourselves, it's like, yes, because actually it's so easy to forget to do that for ourselves. I spent years trying to be not the fun mum, because otherwise it's really easy to slip into the really dictatorial mum. And I didn't want to be that person. But then I would switch that off the moment it got to work or with any other relationship, because then you've got to play the game, then you've got to do the show. And as you become yourself more and more, actually you realize, no, actually I need to make life fun for me. I need to make life easy for me, so I can then carry on doing that for other people and holding the spaces. But I think sometimes women are just expected to raise everybody up and forget to bring ourselves with it.
Yeah. And sorry, were you going to say something, Rochelle?
I was going to say, I think I mentioned before when I was on Lisa Johnson's retreat in Malta, we had a really good session where we were looking at values, and I wouldn't consider one of my top values to be fun, but quite a lot of people in there did. And then now thinking about it, actually, I do want things to be fun, but I never even really considered fun or joy to be a value, and that's probably why it wasn't on my list of things. But actually, if something's not fun, do I really want to be doing it if it's not joyful? So it just got me thinking of like the people who I see who do have that as a top value. You can see that in their energy and in the things that they're doing and the way that they're presenting themselves, that they are having lots of fun, and they use that to sort of decide, right, am I going to do this project? Is it fun? Yes, it's fun. Okay, let's then consider it. No, it's not fun. Well, then I'm not gonna even consider doing it.
Who else do you know who's got a value of fun?
Who else do I know? What are you? I feel like you're asking me like I should know the answer to this question.
No. You said people who. So I'm trying to think if you know someone that I know, so that I can almost picture it and see. Because I don't know if fun is a value for me, but purpose really is. And I see purpose. I almost see purpose as, or fun as, a knock-on effect of being on purpose.
Yeah.
Does that make sense and stuff? So I'm trying to just visualize somebody that we know, that where I go, do you know what? Because I know someone that we both know who's very, and I know that they're not necessarily happy.
Yeah.
And may not necessarily having fun, but it's again the woman bit of having to make it fun for everybody else.
Yeah. But then sometimes you can get that joy from seeing other people having fun.
That part.
I love that with the kids. So when I can see the kids, like say on holiday and they're splashing around in the pool and they're having so much fun, or like over the summer, I'll have my niece and nephew around lots and they're just bouncing on the trampoline and playing games, like that brings, even though I'm not the one having fun, that brings me a lot of joy to see that. And I love seeing the relationship that they've got together and like when they're getting on, which they do most of the time, but
no, I see that. I think it's also really good that you've got to the point with Maisie where you can say, let's pretend, because it starts at a younger age as well. It's like if you can teach them that at a younger age, it makes a huge amount of difference. One of the things that I really believe, it's not about fun, it's joy. So again, I feel like the different emotions come at different times. The joy that I feel is when I give someone the purpose and they go, oh my God, that's it. And I can literally go, and that's why, and I always say it, and I go, that's why exactly why I do what I do, because that to me is everything. Like, I think the thing that makes me most sad is knowing that people aren't prepared to understand why they're here. I don't get it. I don't understand it. It's like, how can you not want to know why you're here? It's like, then what's the purpose of life? Like, that's how I see it. It's like, it doesn't make sense. And so when somebody gets it, they go, and I go, oh, this is it. This is why I do what I do. Or when somebody's really ill, like last 2 weeks ago, I was in Manchester and this kid walks in to my brother-in-law's surprise birthday party. He's in absolute agony. And I don't know whether this is something that I should continue doing or not, but I literally just went to his mom, can I take him outside and do some work on him? Took him outside. He's had this pain since like March. He's been in absolute agony. Did one lot of healing on him, messaged him yesterday, and he's still better. He's still not had any pain. He's not vomited. He's not been on the toilet for hours and hours. Like, he's literally fine as anything. And when that happens, I go, that's why I do what I do. Because he's able to remember what it was like and go, my life's not painful anymore.
Yeah.
And to me, even just doing the healing is fun for me. Like, to me, I'm like, I get to do something I enjoy doing. But I'm also very aware that the professional fun sometimes has to be very different from the personal fun. And the personal fun is like where I go, okay, I'm going to go to a party. I'm going to go to an event. I'm going to go meet with people. I'm going to have a conversation with a friend and stuff. And, you know, like all those little things, like even just getting on the phone and just having a conversation with someone, to me, that's fun. They probably see it as a chore. But I see it as fun. So, yeah. So how can, no, go on.
I was going to say, I find learning fun.
Oh, I love learning.
Yeah. You know, but so often people go, oh, I've got to. And you're like going, well, why are you bothering?
Yeah. I think the type of learning I like is when I'm being taught. So like, I loved school, I loved going to lessons, and now this is why I'm always part of like masterminds and like going to business events and things like that, because I really love being taught. I do like learning through like listening to audiobooks and stuff as well, but I get the impression from you, Helen, that you can self-study and really learn things in that sort of way, whereas I'm very good at surface level learning. But to go deeper, I need somebody else there to guide me along.
Yeah. I can really geek out. I mean, really geek out.
See, my idea of fun around learning is being somebody's only client. like I love the attention. And if somebody just goes, come on, Victoria, let's just go around the world and just learn, I would be your most dedicated student. I'd listen to everything. I don't like sharing. It was so funny once. We're at Lisa's house, and she was, I think it was like a strategy day or something, and there must have been like 10 of us. And obviously, everybody's trying to get their business out there and talk about the business and solve the problems. And there's always one or two who have more problems than everybody else and stuff. And fair play, you're there, you've paid your money and everything else. But this girl talks and talks and talks, and in the end, I just went really quiet, and I just went really quiet and just sat there, and I just didn't say another word, and I listened and I listened and I listened, because I was like, and I've got so much to ask and so much, but I'm not learning. Anyway, I think towards the end, I managed to ask a couple of questions, but we were somewhere else on a social thing, just like hanging out, and Lisa went, Vic doesn't like to share. And she actually noticed. She went, Vic does not like to share. So I'm just like, I don't. So my idea of fun would be like, exclusivity for me is fun. Like, making me feel special, making me feel like I'm your only student. Fun. I love it. I love like that experience. Oh my God. I just think it's just, I love it and stuff. So there you go.
Yeah.
So how can we encourage, final words, how can we encourage the woman or man who's listening to this right now and who goes, I don't know what fun is, so I don't know how to connect to fun in my life, and how do I do that? What would be the advice for them? Helen, I'll go to you first.
So I suppose mine's a really random answer on that one. go and figure out how to regulate your nervous system first, because if you're not in a regulated state, you're never going to know. So, which seems really tangential, but fun is so different to so many people.
Okay.
That unless you're regulated, unless you've got that sense of groundedness and safety, and you can Google how do I regulate my nervous system, but just easy breathing techniques will do it as well. But doing that then opens you up to the possibility of fun. If you're stressed, nothing's going to seem fun.
Rochelle, thank you. Rochelle.
Yeah, that's a really interesting point. So I was thinking, I think people need to be more open to trying new things. Like a lot of people are stuck doing the same things that they've always done and don't actually know what they find fun. So I'm like, experiment, just see. In the same way as I was talking about the regulation thing that that I'm doing with H, actually we don't always know what we're going to find fun or not. So like I'm trying to get like my sister to come to play rugby with me and be like, oh, you love it, like, 'cause I love it. But she probably won't. My mum started going to the gym with me earlier this year, and she was like, she's always been a person who very much never wanted to go to the gym, and she thought she'd hate it, and then she got in there and she loves it. Like, she didn't know that she was gonna enjoy doing that. So you just never know what you're gonna find fun. So I think just be open to trying new things and seeing what takes off.
Yeah, I'm gonna come back to the nervous system thing, because when I was younger, I used to have so much fun. I didn't have a clue what the nervous system meant. Didn't know what it looks like. And again, the nervous system is something now that's a very popular buzzword that's coming up quite a lot, and not everybody knows what that is. And when clients come to me, so when I'm doing healing for clients, in most cases, I'm normally aligning their nervous system. We don't always connect it. We don't always talk about it in a huge way to pranic healing, because it's normally seen as almost like a separate thing. But actually, it's making sure that you're completely aligned. But if you don't know what you don't know, is around that. But equally, it is a really good measure to use, because with my work, it means sort of like making sure that your energy centers are clean, energized, so that when you start to look at, you can start to look at the world in a different way. Because if your energy centers are all closed down and dirty, then you could be susceptible to things like depression and anxiety and stress and everything else.
Yeah. And very simply, if you're in a stress state, it's a ditto.
Yeah. But Tony Robbins, sorry, were you going to say something?
No, go.
No, Tony Robbins was going to say, would normally say, change your emotions. Like, he would be like, change your state. He'd always, so like Tony would be very much sort of like, just jump up and down. And actually just jumping up and down, whilst people see it as jumping up and down, it's also seen as exercise. So if your lymphatic system is moving, then you can't be miserable at the same time, because you're going to have some form of emotion that's going to make you move your body in a different way, which then makes you stop thinking about the thing that you're worried about, which is why a lot of people go, I'd never do a Tony Robbins event. But one of the reasons why I love it is because in one day you could do 20 to 30,000 steps a day, if not more. Instead of just from jumping up and down.
I do Tony Robbins to hit my step count.
Yeah. Because but you also stop, you forget all the emotions that you come with, because your emotions you're not born with your emotions. You embody them from your experience in life. So Tony's job is like, let's get rid of the emotions, let's get rid of all of those, jump up and down, dance to music that makes you feel good. It's that when you dance into music, that's why you'll rarely see a miserable person in a nightclub, because you're dancing and having fun, unless you get dumped. And then when you're getting dumped, in the nightclub and said, well, you're not dancing then, are you? So the music.
You're doing shots of vodka at the bar, yeah.
You're doing shots of vodka in the bar and stuff. Well, that was a great and interesting conversation. I'm looking forward to the one next week. We're not going to see Helen for a few weeks.
No.
She's off to do, what are you off to do? Tell us.
Well, I've got a podcast that I host. It's called So You Want to Be a Leader, really? And I've just got bookings at 12 o'clock for the next 3 or 4 weeks. But also we've got our Defy Expectations away day on the 19th. So that's going to be a fun day where we're all coming together in Birmingham for a bit of fun and a bit of business.
Nice. Well, we'll miss you and we'll see you in a few weeks. But Rochelle will be back, won't you, love?
I will. Yeah, I'm here every week until the 26th of November. So
there you go. We're here. But as always, send in your comments. Let us know what you think. This wouldn't be anything without you. Follow us so that you can catch the next live, and we'll speak to you soon. Take care.
bye.
Bye.
Bye.